Hi, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Thursday, March the 8th, and this will be our chart lesson for today. And this is going to be a really quick one. I'm short of time today, but I'm just going to try to cover the usual key entry points, the best trades that we had. And there weren't very many entries today. I count 6 entries today, and there weren't many other entries other than the ones I did mark. Normally there's some other trades, and there may be 1 or 2 other ones in here that that I didn't mark, but I'm going to only mark the best ones, and we'll talk about them real quick, then I'm going to call it a day. I'm limited on time. I've got an appointment this evening that I've got to be at. The one good thing I'll say about today is we finally got some movement. It wasn't all in one direction, but that's not uncommon. But at least when prices were, we weren't stuck in these 2-point ranges for hours at a time, and we did have a little bit of a range here. Prices didn't do much from about 10 to a little bit after 11 o'clock this morning, but other than that, it was a pretty good trading day. And so I'm going to go over the trades real quick, and then I'm going to wrap this up and get out of here. But the first trade right out of the gate was this short right here off this double top. We had a little down sloping trend line, and you actually could have drawn this trend line a couple of different ways. You could have drawn it like this, and that's probably the better trend line right there. But I drew it like off this swing because that's a better angle, and you see it did kind of prices did kind of become affected by that swing right there because we were kind of bouncing off of them on the way down off the other side of this. And but you had this little short trend regardless of how you look at it. Then you had your break of the trend line, a double top. So this is a double top against the trend. That's what you're looking for when the trend, the prices are moving down. So the trend had been down for several hours right at the open. And what we're looking for is a reason to get on board with the trend. And this could have been prices going higher, but when we made this double top and had this bearish bar, and then we broke lower and tried to go higher again and then broke below that bar, you probably should have gone short here off this double top with this nice reversal bar. But regardless, definitely after that bar, there's enough room to get out before getting back down here to these lows along here. And usually I'll put my line across those closings for where I'm expecting prices to return, reverse somewhere in that area. So this was a nice scalp, then a pullback. This is really a breakout pullback right here, but it's not a good one because you've really got several overlapping bars. This is a big, huge reversal bar, but it was better to wait on this entry. This was a second test of this. See, right here we broke lower, but we never really tested underneath yet. So what you're looking for is that test from the underside, and that came right here. So this was the better entry, and you could have actually gone short below that bar right there or that bar. You're getting more risky down here below this bar because you're getting back near the low, so it was better to go short right there if you took that trade. We already had the break of the trend line and a new low, so if you didn't take this one, I understand why. There was no reason. I mean, that's a good enough reason not to take it because you had to go short below this little doji. But if you're going to go short near support or resistance, that's what you want, a little small bar, or you might even like that bar to be close, a bearish close or whatever. So, but a doji's okay when it's when it's right out of support or resistance, and now this former support was resistance, and you can see if you drag that across, it held over here, and then we had a little breakout pullback long, and then prices took off again. And I marked this one in green because it's iffy. We had the break of the trend line, but let me show you something else that I really liked about this. You got your first leg down, then you got your two-legged correction, and then you got your second leg down. And whenever you make a double bottom, now we're looking for some kind of reversal pattern after this break of the trend line and a couple of legs down. And if you look right here, you'll see that we actually had 2 measured legs down. That's leg 1 and that's leg 2, and that's almost a perfect measured leg. As far as the closes go, it was a perfect measured leg. And so we got the break of the trend line. We've now got Actually, if you measure that right, which I didn't do right there, I bet you get a perfect measured move, and you can see that. That's a perfect measured move. So then you got two legs down. You got a retest of that low, held as a double bottom, then prices reversed. So if you went long right there, that's a great entry. I marked it in green because for a lot of traders, it's somewhat of a counter trend type trade, but we should have been looking for a reversal because of the reasons I just showed you. And so if you took that trade, that was a great entry. Then after that, we had this little breakout. Your highs would have been right across here. And this is a breakout pullback long. And you could have gone long right here, but you definitely should have gone long right here. And you see it took it a minute to work out, to take off, but no bar ever broke lower than the previous bar, so you wouldn't have got stopped out even if you were tightening your stop all the way up. And then finally prices broke a little higher, and they were really struggling to go higher. Nobody really believed this trend was going to go up, but as you can see, it just continued to fight its way higher. This is another questionable one, but the reason I like this one, if you saw these two bars, you could draw your line right off of that. And all this was a pullback to the trend line and the EMA. And we didn't quite make the EMA, but the trend line's close enough, and that's close enough to the EMA. And this is a second entry long above here. So if you took that again, there was nothing wrong with that trade because it is a two-legged pullback to the trend line, and it's good enough to be a two-legged pullback to the EMA. It's also a double bottom with the trend. Prices are trending up. And so if you did take that one, it's okay. It wasn't a great setup because it was risky with these prices coming all the way across here. It was a little risky, but the trend was up and had been up since, say, 9 o'clock. So that's almost a 2-hour uptrend, even though a good portion of that was in this sideways stuff. So if you didn't take this one, not a big deal. I understand why. And, you know, on some days that would be a horrible entry, but it worked out okay today, and prices went on higher. We finally got a break of the trend line here, a couple legs back. We made this double bottom. This was really the best trade of the afternoon because we had two legs back. It's at the EMA. We made a double bottom. It's actually a pullback retest of this breakout area, and if you drew your line across there, you can see that. And that's why I'm always drawing these lines. I'll remove them as the day goes on so my chart doesn't get too cluttered, and I try to put them back on there. Just the major ones when we're doing the chart lesson, so that's why you'll see me move them around like this. But that's just a double test of that breakout area that held, and this is what I really liked. You had three overlapping bars, and then this little tick broke lower. And that trapped in a lot of shorts right there, I guarantee it. And it reversed immediately and closed way up here on this high. So you could have had your stop one tick above here. That's a little bit more aggressive type entry, but you can see it would have been a good one with that trap. And that you still had plenty of room to get out before you retested this high. But even if you didn't take that one, you definitely should have entered here when that bar entered that long and that bullish. When we're looking for a retest, there was a good chance prices were going to come up here and make a new high, and probably make a high above this high here as well. And you can see that's what happened. And prices really continued on up. So if you entered right in here around 64, it was about a 4-point move to the high. And so that was a great trade right there in the early afternoon. And that was really the best trade of the day. In my opinion, because that was the biggest move of the day without all this choppiness. I mean, prices really took off, and this, you know, most of your better traders were expecting this after this trend line break, and then we know we're usually going to get a couple legs up to a new high. We got one leg pulled back, and the second leg, it didn't turn out to be a measured one, but it's still two legs up to a new high, and now we're kind of working down again. So that's pretty much it for the day, and I'm not going to talk about a whole lot more. Just remember that when prices are coming down, you're looking for patterns to get short on, and when prices are going up, you're looking for patterns to get long on. And even though this is an overall, what I would call overall trading range, it's really two legs or two moves. There was a two-legged move down and then a couple of legs up to a new high. And so there was some good movement. Prices weren't really stagnant all that much, even though they weren't moving really fast or any big moves. They were constantly moving in one direction or the other. It was pretty simple to find the trend lines. They weren't that hard to find today. So hopefully you had a good trading day. If you didn't, we'll try to have a better one tomorrow. And I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I'll see you on Friday.